Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is exactly 8:46 a.m. South African time. We are now going to be crossing over to Pakistan and we'll be talking with Dr. Qamar Cheema. He is a strategic and political analyst based in Pakistan. We're going to be looking at the story around Imran Khan's arrest. Of course, he is the ex-prime minister of Pakistan, and I'm wondering how the Pakistani people, very especially his followers of the PTI party, are responding to his arrest. We do know that previously, when he was threatened in any way or form, his followers took to the streets and caused absolute mayhem. What's the situation like now, and how do the larger Pakistani public feel about this arrest? Is it trumped up charges? Is this fair? Is it all fair and square as far as Pakistani politics are concerned? Well, Dr. Qamar Cheema, strategic and political analyst, is going to unpack all of this and more for us. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
All right. The sentence has been passed. Has Imran Khan been arrested already? Is he in jail, or is there still some time being allowed to him before he is placed in custody, so to speak?
Well, Imran Khan is in jail because he's one of those person whose case was in the is in the courts of his party, and he has been sentenced for 3 years under the Tosha Khana case. There have been more than 40 appearances in the court about this case. He only appeared in the three of the appearances in the court. Now he is in jail, and there is a likely possibility that today that Imran Khan's party and his advocates they are going to they're going to file a petition into the High Court, where they're going to request the High Court that his sentence may be suspended, and they want to talk about the merits of the case in the High Court.
How are the people of Pakistan responding to it, very particularly his followers, the people of the PTI party?
Well, back in May, when when he was arrested, the people responded in a violent way. They attacked the military headquarters, they attacked the military installations, they attacked the house of the corps commander in the Lahore, who is a three-star general in the military. And but after this arrest, nobody literally came on the roads because majority of his party members left him because of his attacks on the military. The entire second tier leadership or the third tier leadership is completely absent. They have joined other parties or they have made their own political parties. But this time, Imran Khan's supporters, they have not come on streets. There have been few dozens only in few cities, and there is a calm in the country.
Okay, so it seems that the majority of his followers, as you have just suggested, have abandoned him. Why do you believe this has happened? Is it because he has been incarcerated? And what are the charges that were brought against him? What's the feeling like? Is it fair? Has it been a fair trial? And is it correct that he should be jailed for these charges? Please do unpack for us.
Well, Imran Khan is considered as a what we call that he's not a corrupt man. Largely, the people have said this. But once you come in power, this is the first time he came in power directly as a prime minister. So obviously, there have been many charges against him. Majority of those charges are fabricated, and there are some charges which are right in spirit. For example, this Toshakana case, in which he has sentenced, the charges are fair because he didn't follow the law. He didn't follow the SOPs for selling those state gifts. So this is an improper selling of the state gifts, which was his right to sell, by the way. But for example, he made fake invoices. He did some other practices which were definitely not in line with the law. So he has been charged in that way, and he couldn't prove where the money is, which he got because he told that with that money he made a road in front of his house, and in fact he couldn't justify uh, uh, the entire process of selling those state gifts which he got. One thing. The second thing is that majority of the people believe that he's innocent. One second, they believe that since the military is powerful, and back in 2018, he came in power with the support of the military. But this time, the military is not supporting him because he started meddling in the internal affairs of the military. He started targeting the army chief of the country by calling him that you are the man who deserted me. And he leveled charges against the US government and the Pakistan's military chief that they have made a conspiracy against me to de-seat me. But unfortunately, there are many people who believe that he went out of the power because there was a success of the vote of no confidence. In the history of the Pakistan, the only person who has been ousted from power through the vote of no confidence is Imran Khan in 76 years history of the country. So in fact, uh, he did good struggle in the country, but he's not the person who could win over his allies. His allies were not happy. He couldn't go for coalitions. He was not taking care of his coalition partners. So at the end of the day, the other political parties, they got support of the coalition partners. They got the support of the other political parties. So the military was neutral in that entire process. But the people and the Imran Khan believed that had the military been on their side, he would have been in power. But in reality, the military says that we have termed neutral. We are not going to support anyone. So it's the political parties, whatever they do, we will support them. We will support the democracy. But Imran Khan's desire is that the military shall support him alone. So unfortunately, he doesn't have any alliance with any political party in the country. All of the political parties, they got together against him because once he was in power, he punished them all. He sent them into the jail. He sent every politician in the jail almost, from the first tier leadership, from the second tier leadership. They went into the jail. He made fabricated cases against him, and now nobody is showing sympathy against him because when he's facing these charges against him, or if there are cases against him. Uh, so largely he's popular, but he lacks the art of politics, which is required in countries like Pakistan.
In terms of the appeal, his legal team are going to be appealing the sentencing. Do you believe that, the situation might change? They either lessen the sentence. Could he not be, is there not a possibility for him to pay a fine and be released? And if that does happen, do you think he's going to re-enter politics, or do you believe that his political career is now over?
For few years, his political career seems over because he has been sentenced for 3 years and he has been disqualified to contest elections for 5 years. So particularly, even it is now it depends. The ball is in the High Court and the Supreme Court. We are expecting elections in next 3 to 4 months. So if he's been disqualified from one court, the High Court doesn't, if they do not suspend his sentence and he's still disqualified, his sentence is not suspended, he will stay in jail because he is to stay in jail for 3 years, one thing. But that's not the, I'm sorry, but that's not the only case. He has so many other cases against him. The cases regarding corruption, the cases regarding terrorism charges have been leveled against him. So it's a very serious matter, and it's not just him. The entire party has withered. The second tier leadership has withered. and they believed that he was basically an authoritarian leader. He was not listening to his own lieutenants. He while he was the vote of no confidence and was successful. He left the National Assembly. He resigned from the provincial assemblies, and he came in trap. He so because of his undemocratic acts, he basically lost the race. Normally, what we call is that the politicians should be in the assemblies, but he believed that if he's not in power in the National Assembly, then my politicians who are in the provincial assemblies, they should also not be in the power. So he asked them to resign and leave the party, leave the government in two big provinces. So the entire party was asking him that you should not force us to resign. But since he was the party chief, he has the ultimate authority. So he forced them to resign, and then that was basically that proved a trap for him. And since the time he has resigned from the provincial assemblies and the national assemblies to put the pressure on the government, he basically lost his own democratic credentials, and now uh, virtually no one is talking with him. And he has expressed that in his own interviews. There is no one to talk. There is no one to consult. There is no one around me because of his own policies. That's what the many of his own politicians say.
Okay, finally, and a quick short answer to it. When the first vote of no confidence was passed against him last year sometime, he accused the Americans, he accused the United States of playing this double game against him to get him out of power because he was not serving their purposes, obviously, in Pakistan. And he also was becoming and is very friendly with the Chinese, and that didn't bode well with the Americans at all. Do you believe that that was, in fact, the case? He claimed that he had documentation to prove that the Americans wanted him out of power, and they orchestrated all of these trumped up charges against him to get him out of power.
Well, there's nothing like that. He's a politician. He's basically considered one of the conspiracy theorists, in fact. He created many conspiracy theories. He turned anti-West. He turned anti-US. He turned anti-Europe as well. So that is one thing. The second thing is that he says that the military, the political parties, and the Americans wanted him out. But in reality, he was not having any contact with the other politicians. He didn't used to meet his own party members. He always relied on the support of the military, that the military will help him in everything. So, in fact, to be in Pakistan, a country like Pakistan, where we had a fledgling, revolving door democracy, it's not easy to govern here. You should have your democratic credentials, in fact. And I personally believe that he lacked those democratic credentials because in democracy, you always talk. And he says that I'm not going to talk to anyone. I'm not going to talk to any opposition leader because they are corrupt people, and I don't talk to corrupt people. And he's not, and he doesn't have a majority. So the best thing is that you level charges against others, and particularly, being anti-America in Pakistan is very fancy because we have seen the Islamist parties in Pakistan. They have built that culture to be against the great powers, and the people just bought this idea. And then being anti-military is also very fashionable in the country. But Imran Khan, the entire struggle of Imran Khan for 25 years was he was supporting the military. But once he's outside the power, he's saying that the generals should not play the role in politics. The generals are wrong. So when generals were supporting him, they were good. But now, since they're not supporting him, he is going to label and charge them that they work with the Americans and they ousted me from the power. So but a large section of the Pakistani society believe that he doesn't have the true democratic spirit in him. He didn't make his party. There is no number two leader in his party. There is no number three. Even he promised for having intra-party elections. There are never intra-party elections. So for his own failures, he blame others.
Dr. Qamar Cheema, you are a strategic and political analyst based in Pakistan. Thank you indeed for your analysis on the matter. Go well, and salam alaikum to you.
Thank you so
It is exactly 1 after 9 o'clock. Our news correspondent is standing by to talk with us, and that, of course, is Zai Jatwood. Please stand by for the bulletin of the morning.